Lots going on in the world. And I'm noticing that I feel pressure at times to feel a certain way about it. Um, there can be this sense of, am I lacking compassion if I'm not um, having a heightened emotional experience in response to what's happening? Um, is it going to be received in a painful, violent way if I share perspectives that don't match um, the painful perspective, the one that honors people's suffering? But what I end up rolling with pretty much, I feel like maybe my expression is a little bit limited in the presence of some of those considerations because I really do want to consider my impact on people and not add to any unnecessary pain or suffering, if that's even a thing. The unnecessary part, not the pain and suffering part. Um, but yeah, where I often land is just, despite the mind considerations, I'm just going to keep flowing with the moment. I'm just going to keep expressing whatever feels alive and this sense that it wants to be shared. And something I think about a lot is this idea of parallel perspectives, that all points of view can coexist. And we don't imagine that's true. There seems to be like we have, if we see it this way, then we're the enemy or we're an ally. And there doesn't seem to often be room to have multiple perspectives on things. So in moments I feel very tapped into the fire of, like, the passion of this ends now. This bullshit with the way that African American people of color who've been treated for fucking ever. It feels like this really potent, beautiful, catalytic time to finally burn this shit down. This racist bullshit. And then there's also this part of me watching this going, I feel like we're all being controlled. I feel like all they have to do is kill a black man, and they've just controlled millions of people. I don't know who's planning what, but something in me gets the sense that there's intention behind some of these things. And I've read, I don't like calling them conspiracy theories because they often seem to have a lot of validity. Um, and that feels like a term that's used to just discredit anything that goes against the main narrative. But I've read some things about it being staged, that George Floyd wasn't actually killed. I don't know if any of that's true, um, but I could see that being a brilliant strategy if people were, for whatever reason, wanting us to be acting the way we are in response, wanting to perhaps distract us from something else, because it's got our attention. And it seems easy to get the attention of the masses. Just do this thing over here, and then nobody's watching what's going on over here anymore. I don't dwell in this that often because I ultimately feel like I don't know. I don't feel drawn to research. I am more intuitive, I guess. I just trust what I feel, and I I move from the moment, and it doesn't feel alive for me to know all the facts and details of things, because I don't even know if any of that means anything. But what does feel relevant is to consider people's emotional experience and to consider how I can be love in response, and how to be love in response to my own emotional experience as well. Because there's all these different perspectives, there's all these different me's or parts of me. I hesitate to even say parts of me. It's like it's all just me. Um, and in different moments, it's different ideas, different explorations. And sometimes it's just hilarious. A lot of times there's a humor to so much of it. I don't find humor in someone getting murdered, but I do find some humor in the response of the people to just be reactive. I'm not saying that's wrong. Like, this seems like a catalytic time to unleash anger. But there's also an aspect of people seeming to be sheeple. Feels like a little bit of a judgmental word, but it describes the sort of what sometimes seems to me to be a bit of a blind movement. That's just, this thing happened, now I'm going to do this. There's the spiritual perspectives, if you want to call them that come in as well, like the world being a reflection of our inner world, and ultimately this being an invitation to explore within. And I sometimes look out at the world and see everybody just looking outside themselves for this all needs to be fixed externally. And yeah, there is some fucked up shit externally. And if people are drawn to be a part of that change, that's beautiful, that self-trust. I just wonder sometimes if there's a lot of, for lack of a better term, unhealed people moving from wounding, not realizing that they're creating more wounding, that we that so much of the healing is communing with self, being tender with ourselves, being moving externally in moments and being still in other moments. I don't know if that's everyone's path. I've kind of given up assuming that what feels right for me is going to be right for another, because I have no idea what exploration someone else is in. I have no idea if them, what I might label as reactively attacking, is not absolutely perfect for their exploration, for whatever they're here to experience. That in itself feels like there could be so much healing in the world if everyone just had that perspective of it feels like humility to me, to be like, I have no idea if that person doing what they're doing, even if it seems cruel, even if it bothers me, even if it's, you know, doesn't appear to be love, I really don't know. I can take care of myself in response. I can do whatever feels authentic in response. Maybe if someone's doing something that seems totally fucked up to me and my response is to end that shit, then that's my beautiful mission. I don't like mission. That's my exploration. That's the experience I'm here to have. To be reactive in response to reactivity in this moment. It's all moment to moment. So I feel liberated when I give myself permission to be the moment, to exist as whatever is alive in the moment, even if it goes against what seems to be compassionate in moments, as long as it doesn't feel like way out of integrity for me, right? That might even be extreme. There's an energetic sense of if a movement feels off to me, feels like, and sometimes there'll be things that I could imagine a lot of people being like, why is he sharing that right now, or why is he sharing that at all, or what the fuck is he doing? And but in within me, there's a clarity of it wanting to be shared. That's why I share it. And I feel like I can offer that to some degree on my end of like, I might have a judgment of what you're sharing or even doing, but maybe you're just in a space of self-trust. Maybe your intuition is guiding you. Maybe that's all we're ever doing. Maybe this whole thing of trust and intuition is bullshit, and we're moving with that in every moment, and it's not even a thing. That's part of humility for me too. I really don't know. It's just all these ideas, and more I feel drawn to. Um, it's not even drawn. It's like when a mind interpretation comes in, I notice myself just like softening, and when I become aware of its energy, of its like sort of combative, the war within, it just there's a sort of an automatic surrender that happens for me. And a sense of peace that comes in, and the mind gets quiet. I realize that fucker is just going to keep putting me against myself all the time. It's going to play both sides to keep itself alive. And as it gets quiet inside, there's more of a clarity of movement that often comes with that. Where I'm not moving because the mind is suggesting I do something. I'm moving because something in me is moving, and I'm just there's a clarity of joining it in that movement. And that's inspired creativity for me. That's joy. Thanks for listening.